I've been really wanting to make a video about this, and that is lens dust, because I get a lot of questions saying, well, what do I do now? There's dust in my lens. Should I get a new lens? Do I have to dump this off? Do I have to send it back for servicing? Will it degrade image quality? Well, here's the information you need to know, how dust affects your lens and your image quality, exactly what you need to do, what you should do. Let's go. I'm going to be upfront, and the true reality is lens dust will happen no matter what. And it really does happen, especially, and I'll show you, especially when you have a lens that zooms. Now, why? Before I get into any other things, basically there's air that's getting in here as you're zooming in, you're zooming out, etc. So dust will get in there. It's going to happen. You're just going to have to get used to it. But once again, does that kill your image quality? It's really a case-to-case basis, so you can't be 100% specifically sure until you go out and test. But here are some things to where you can see, does dust affect, and you can go out and test this now. So where does it affect? Where does dust really start to show? Well, if you open up the back of your lens, you take off your lens cap, this is your rear element. You'll see that a lot here. This gets exposed a lot when you're changing lenses. That's why you have to clean out the inside of your camera, and or you see dust on your sensor or something or the mirror or anything. So it can happen in the same thing. So if you check that, you can see that there could be some dust there as well. But that's an easy fix. Well, one of the things you're going to have to do is check using smaller apertures. So if you really want to do a nice landscape or a smaller, a deeper depth of field or anything like that, if you use an f11 or an f16, 22, etc., if you really close down the aperture, you can see that there is dust. And it really shows when you're in tighter shots. So if you're really in for a telephoto look to fill the frame, it really emphasizes the dust, if there really is any. And also at wider angles, as I said, going back to the landscapes. So those are the things that can really show if you have dust or not. That, and when you can put something up to a bright sky, white sky, or a white screen or something like that, and you can really see if there's dust on your camera sensor or there's dust with a specific lens. All in all, will the dust, will it actually hurt your image quality? And the question is, it could or could not. You never know. You could get it professionally cleaned or something, but no matter what, zoom lenses or really any lens you have for a while, if you don't take good care of them, they will get dust on them. As I said, don't be scared. My 24-70 has a little bit of dust in it. It's a little over, a couple months old, about a year old now, and it just happens. It's especially 70-200s and everything like that. It's just as it's zooming, there's a little bit of air and everything like that. Just don't go crazy over it. Once again, you can always inspect if your lens should have this. There's a little lever here where you can open up the aperture and stop it down and everything like that. I'll show you. I don't know if you can see it that well. I'll do it this way too. And you could go inside, look out in some really bright light, and that's how you can inspect used gear as well. Dust particle has to be really large for it to actually really damage image quality. But if you take care of your lenses and you just go through and as I said, really take care of your stuff, you're going to be fine. Yes, there's going to be a little bit of dust. That might not be on the front or the back of it. It might be on the inside. It just happens. Some quick things you can do to maintain that. One of the things I have is like a rocket air, like Geodis rocket air type thing. I love this thing. Gives a nice, blow job. What you could do though, what I normally do after or before every use, I clean my lenses, I blow them off. So what I do is, and this happens with dust and everything like that, you point it down. Stuff like that. You get off the rear element. Of course, the cap will be off. And I also do that with my camera body as well. I'll open that up, turn that down, and blow inside. So that way you're minimizing dust. And so that way you really won't have a huge impact. So, does dust get in your lenses? Yes. Will it affect image quality? Not necessarily, but as I said, it really could, especially if you're using filters and everything like that. Dust will even get through some filters and not work the way you think they should. They're not exactly 100% protective. So if there's little gaps between things and filter threads and everything, there is going to be dust. Don't be alarmed. You don't need to sell right away. But if it really is something that's really if it's in an attic or something like that, or a place where there's, very heavy dust or something like that, and it gets in, you probably will have to send it to your brand's service department, so that way they can clean it out properly. They can dismantle it. I don't recommend doing it yourself, because if you do it, it'll avoid your warranty and everything like that. So yeah, be very careful about it. Lens dust is very common. It just can range from meh to ooh, damn. So that's all I got. Eric Rossi, the guy with the eye. Lens dust, it doesn't necessarily affect image quality. Don't panic. As I said, you can get it serviced for much cheaper, for probably under a couple hundred bucks, rather than going out selling this lens to get a brand new lens just because there's a little bit of dust in it, which in fact, that might have a little lens dust in it as well. So hopefully it helps.